Hi, I'm JoAnna. I'm the co-high priestess of the North Wyldewood Coven.
I'm Denise, co-high priestess of North Wildwood Coven.
And today we are going to talk about polytheism and what it means to be a polytheistic witch. So polytheism, briefly put, just means a belief in more than one deity. Poly, many, theism, gods. So we as witches do in the tradition work with a number of different gods from a number of different pantheons. And those four pantheons are the Celtic pantheons, of which there are a number of different disparate threads. Generally the Norse pantheons, the Norse cultures that were polytheistic, the Greeks and the Romans, and the Egyptians. And we each, in our personal practice, in our private practice, and within the coven, have sort of affinities and ways that we work with various deities within those pantheons. And we worship them and do spell work with them and ceremonies with them. We also, because we are witches and we do come from a Wiccan background, we do sometimes work with deity as just the divine feminine or male, or as archetypes that are on a larger scale that are not definitionally specific, like Thor or Dionysus or Aphrodite. But that is a different way, and we kind of choose to select between that depending on the work that we're going to do in ceremony or in ritual.
On my journey, when I first started out, I thought of deity as, well, it's just one. And then I was like, oh, but there's other little parts. And so it became, there's large deity, and then there was divine masculine, divine feminine. And then underneath that, it was broken down into different pantheons of gods. And sometimes I felt that, yes, all gods are one God, and like one amorphous being that is hard to explain. And then other times it was, on my journey, it was just, this is this God. This is Thor. This is Tyrannus. This is Zeus. They are all involving with lightning or thunder and storms, but they are very different. Just like I am a woman and JoAnna is a woman, but JoAnna as a woman is very different from me as a woman. It doesn't mean that we are not women. It just means that we are different beings. And so in the practice, as I've evolved or changed or morphed, however you want to put it, it varies. It's more like a wave. So sometimes it's one thing, sometimes it's another. And we try to honor all of that in our practices and in our rituals.
Absolutely.
And it's super, super important to allow yourself to follow your journey as you move through it, because all of those experiences help you to learn and grow and figure out what really works for you.
Yeah, it's really about that personal experience of the divine. That's part of what is beautiful about witchcraft as a practice, is that it is about, what is your experience of the world and how can you interact with, the more than human world, with gods and spirits and ancestors, and actually take your experience seriously and allow that to unfold for you in a respectful way, of course. It's also important to note that what she was saying about, deities being thought of as like, oh, just the one, and then the one sort of broken down into various facets, or as being disparate. No, Aphrodite is different from, Freya. Those are very, very different entities. We both kind of go back and forth on that, and we do have our own thoughts and feelings on that within the coven, and that's actually very historically accurate also on a certain way. It's not just a modern thing, because people that were polytheistic in Greece and Rome had various opinions about like the definition of what it meant to worship a god, and were they the same? If you encountered another tribe that had a very similar deity, were they worshiping the same god that you call by this name, or was that a different entity? And there were a lot of differences of opinion on that. And then that's not even getting into Gnosticism, which kind of, inflected Christianity about the one and things emanating from the one, which we talk about in sort of like more of our advanced studies and things like that as a coven. But this is a conversation that's been going on for thousands of years around the world. It's not just us as modern witches. So it's really important to kind of keep that in mind and have an open mind about all of it.